Hello YouTubers. I'm having a problem with my garbage disposal that could indicate something lodged in the blades or worse. This is what I'm hearing and feeling. Let's check what's going on and see if we can fix it. Stick around. Upon initial inspection, nothing appears lodged in the blades, so using a couple of wooden spoon handles, I'm holding back the splash guard to take a closer look. Beneath the splash guard, I'm rotating the blades like this to ensure one blade is not stuck, which would throw the motor out of balance and cause vibration. Because both blades rotate normally, and because this unit is 25 years old, it appears the motor bearings are shot. Time for a new disposal. I was able to locate this 3/4 horse Waste King model L3200 constant feed disposal on sale at a big box store for less than $90. My older unit was only a half horse. Waste King is manufactured by Moen, and this model sports an 8-year repair or replacement warranty. It comes with a reset button on the bottom in case of overloads, but no way of clearing garbage jams using a hex wrench and manually spinning the motor like my older model. Most modern-day garbage disposals come pre-wired to plug into a 120-volt outlet, and this one is no exception. However, if your old unit was hardwired, you may wish to hardwire this model as well, and I'll show you how in just a minute. This black rubber cushion mount helps absorb vibration. A rubber stopper comes packaged with this unit. In removing this support ring from the flange, you will note both a brown fiber gasket and the black rubber gasket. You may use the black rubber gasket in lieu of plumber's putty, but don't use both. Now, I've had years of success going the putty route, so that's what I'll be using. Most folks like myself will need to route their dishwasher drain hose to the disposal. As such, we will need to remove this white plug using the blunt end of a dowel rod and hammer to tap the plug inward. If you do not intend to drain your dishwasher through the disposal, or you don't have a dishwasher, leave this plug intact. Don't forget to fish out the plug before use. Locate the breaker for your disposal and flip it off during this procedure. Test the disposal switch to ensure the power is off. I'm attaching some tape as a reminder to others not to mess with this switch. If you intend to hardwire this unit and are comfortable in doing so, remove the bottom plate from the disposal, exposing the wiring. Pull the two black wires through the black rubber grommet and remove the grommet. After mounting the new unit, run the 3 wires from the old unit through a metal clamp and place the naked copper wire on the green screw, the black to the black wire, and the white to the white. Use wire nuts as appropriate. My old unit was hardwired, but I'm going to convert it by running the wires to an outlet, and I'll post a link in the upper right of this video if you'd like to see how I did it. As such, I'll be able to use this disposal as is. In removing the old disposal, we begin by disconnecting the wiring. If your disposal simply plugs in the wall, you may unplug it at this point and skip this step. Remove the plate that covers the wiring. The basic premise here with the power off is to disconnect the black, white, and copper ground wires from the old disposal. Mine are connected via wire nuts and a green screw. If your black and white wires have been soldered, you may have to cut them to pull them loose. To make removal of these wires easier, I will unscrew this metal clamp. The black, white, and copper ground wires are now carefully routed up and out of the disposal while attempting not to cut the plastic sheathing around the black and white wires on sharp edges. Once the new disposal is mounted, follow my earlier instructions or your owner's manual for hardwiring your new unit. Mounting the new ABS drain pipe attachment is a simple process, usually involving 1 or 2 screws depending on your model. Thread the mounting collar onto the pipe like this. A rubber gasket is molded into the large end of the pipe, which gets fitted into the case first. While holding the assembly in place, finger tighten both hex head screws. My instructions state that I can tighten this connection with a screwdriver, and I found this to be true. However, also note that the hex head allows for tightening via a nut driver. Regardless, I'm going to leave this connection slightly loose for the moment until I know for sure which angle the pipe needs to be turned. In case you don't yet have the plumbing installed, note that the outer diameter of this drain pipe is 1.5 inches. During mounting, these small projections on either side of the guide hopper are lifted into slots in the guide ring like this. Then the ring is turned in this direction to tighten the connection. Note the ears on the guide ring for use in placing the shaft of a screwdriver for tightening. Although I won't be using the black rubber gasket, I still want to show you the order of assembly. The rubber gasket would go on the sink flange first, then the sink flange would be installed in the sink from the top down. The brown fiber gasket will go on next, but this gets installed on the flange from under the sink. This black support ring is screwed onto the flange with the flat side up toward the bottom of the sink. This is then hand tightened. The mount ring slides onto the flange with the open ears pointed upwards toward the bottom of the sink like this. Note the groove in the mount ring into which the rubber cushion mount will fit. Also note the bottom lip molded into the flange, which will fit into the groove in the cushion mount. Let me show you. Once properly assembled, the weight of the disposal should not be able to pull off the mount ring, yet the mount ring should be loose enough to turn. I picked up a container of plumber's putty at my local hardware store for a couple of bucks. The smell of this stuff on your hands tends to linger, and I wish I had worn gloves, but take out a glob and begin to knead and roll it into a rope shape. Elongate the putty until you end up with a thickness slightly larger than a number 2 pencil. This size was perfect. Place the putty underneath and circle the lip of the sink flange. The putty will be self-adhesive. Allow for a small overlap and pinch off the excess. Now the time has come to physically remove the old disposal, and since I'm going to be leaning my ribs over the edge of the sink cabinet for some time, I've doubled and tripled a thick blanket to use as cushioned support. Since drainage from the old disposal will be nasty, I'm catching any leakage in an old aluminum turkey basting pan. Let's officially begin this operation with some low-hanging fruit of sorts, that being removal of the dishwasher drain line right here in front. Just grab your slip joint pliers and pinch this compression clamp and slip it down off the fitting. Then remove the drain line using a flat-bladed screwdriver over the top of your catch basin. While still at the front of the disposal, loosen the PVC connector ring, then remove this end of the drain line. Just listen to all the nasty water that came out. Definitely wear your gloves for this part, and those with sensitive stomachs, beware. Here at the rear of the disposal, I am loosening the other end of that same drain line, then moving it out of the way. With this brand of disposal, the mount-dismount collar is loosened by inserting a screwdriver as shown and turning like this. Be ready to catch the disposal as it drops from its collar. This model weighs approximately 6 pounds. This older collar is attached to the flange using a metal compression ring. Be sure and wear your safety glasses and pry the ring up and over the edge of the flange like this. Once removed, all the mounting hardware drops down as well. Here is the old fiber gasket, and this model uses a rubber one too. Now the flange is loose from the sink, but lots of residue from old plumber's putty still remains, so be sure and carefully clean this off using a scouring pad and detergent before installing the new flange. The new flange containing the fresh plumber's putty is pressed into place. There may be some squeeze out, especially after mounting the disposal, and if so, just wipe around the edge with a moistened paper towel. The fiber gasket is installed under the sink, and the support ring screwed into place as shown earlier. This ring has up arrows printed on it for reference, but basically it's the flat side against the sink. Hand tighten. Remember to install the mount ring with the ears up, then secure it in place with the rubber cushion mount. Full disclosure, I found after this video shot that I had to go back and press the cushion mount a little deeper inside the mount ring, else the disposal can't be raised high enough for the projections to fit inside the mount ring receptacles. You can see here how much deeper I pressed the cushion mount up into the mount ring as we raised the disposal in place and fit its projections on either side into the receptacles. Once raised to its full height, I turned the mount ring like this to tighten, but only turned it about halfway for now to allow for repositioning the disposal to hook up the drain line. If you recall, I left the disposal drain line connection loose, and now that I've decided that this will be its final position, I used my screwdriver to finish tightening the hex screw on either side. Because I left the mount ring loose, I hold it and the disposal and pivot both into position for joining the two drain lines. If you only turn the disposal at this point, it will fall off the mount ring, so beware. The drain line from the wall is positioned such that I will not be able to join it to the disposal drain line without additional cutting and additional pipe. So I reused this accordion style or flex PVC from my previous installation. Note that some folks claim using this type of PVC pipe is against code, so check in advance before you use it. A screwdriver tip is inserted into one ear on the mount ring as we finish tightening it. The instructions state you may use a hammer, but I wouldn't advise it. The projections are fully locked in place when they touch the left edge of the mounting ring slot, like this. Route and press in place the drain line from the dishwasher if applicable. Press the sides of the compression clamp together, then slide it into place near the top of the fitting and release. The disposal power cord is unwrapped, routed behind the disposal, and plugged into the 120 volt receptacle. Excess cord may be wire tied up out of the way and to keep it dry. Next, press the rubber removable splash guard into position like this. Turn on the breaker to the disposal switch. Remove the tape from the switch and test your new disposal. It works great, and this project is complete.